Hello and welcome to today's episode of Platinum Talks Wealth. Emmy-nominated journalist Jennifer Rogers Markwell changed gears in her television career when she realized the need to help women make sense of investing. She regularly hosts educational workshops to empower women and others to take charge of their financial future. Now, join your host, Platinum Wealth Management President Jennifer Rogers Markwell, as she leads us into the world of money memories, money infidelities, and how these can mold our relationship with our personal finances as adults. Let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, and thanks for spending some time with us on the Platinum Talks Wealth podcast. I'm Jennifer Rogers Markwell, and today we're joined by Katie Sorensen. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jennifer. I'm glad to be here.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. When I met you, I knew immediately I wanted to have you on the podcast. So
I know.
fantastic
I
that
feel
this
the
worked out.
same. Yeah.
Good.
For sure.
So I always ask, tell me all about who you are and why you do what you do.
Awesome. Yeah. So Katie Sorensen, I'm a nurse practitioner. I started off being a nurse practitioner for nearly a decade in primary care as a family practice NP. And in that time, towards the end, we started getting access to this medication class called GLP-1s. You've probably heard the buzz about them. They're like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, et cetera, are the name brands. And they're game changers. They're really amazing to help people with diabetes, help people with prediabetes, avoid diabetes, help weight loss, cardiovascular disease, just general metabolic disease optimization. And so these medications came available, but in traditional primary care, I was really limited in who I could give access to these medications because insurance coverage is poor, rules are strict, et cetera. And so 3 years ago, I started Weight Loss NP, which is my own clinical practice where I help people lose weight and improve their metabolic health.
So how personally did you get on this journey? How did you become a nurse? Was this always kind of a goal that you said, when I'm a little girl, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, really good question. I feel like I was an entrepreneur from the start. I had a baking business. I sold homemade skincare door to door. Thankfully, my mom let me go do all these crazy things that taught me all kinds of stuff and gave me a bunch of skills. But then I kind of got into okay, you have to get good grades, go to college, get a real job, and me creating my own business right after high school just didn't seem like it was an option to me at the time. So I did all those prescribed steps like we're supposed to do. And really, I did become a nurse because I love helping people. I love medicine, science, I love helping people. And so that was a great intersection. And I'm still thankful that I am a nurse. And I love how my journey has led me through nursing, advancing my degree as a nurse practitioner, and then led me sort of full circle back to being an entrepreneur now and blending those kind of two passions and worlds together.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. And then how, with the practice, you said you had limited things that you can kind of utilize. And so that's why you went off on your own and created your own
Yeah.
empire.
Yeah, exactly. I just felt like our hands were really tied in traditional settings. And so got creative and found ways to get my patients access to these game-changing medications, kind of with or without insurance companies. They're not going to tell us what's best for their health. And in a really safe and medically guided way, we get them on these medications to really start improving their health, get them to their goal weight. It's like the most rewarding work ever because the medications really do work, and our personalized plan along with the medicine sets our clients up for success long term to keep their weight off. So it's a beautiful blend of things that work. And so it's so rewarding. Just now I see over 95% of my clients lose weight in the first month. So it's like being night and day between being like a frustrated primary care provider with very limited options, just telling people diet, exercise, eat less, stuff that we know actually doesn't really work very well, to now being able to offer something that really does work along with personalized, expert, very close-knit care to see people's success just bloom right in front of you. It's so fun.
And for such a novice, is this something people would need to take for a lifetime? Is it just gets them on track and then they create a healthy lifestyle afterwards? How does that work exactly?
Yeah, really good question, valid question. So these medications are once a week injections that you do at home just with a tiny needle and fat tissue. So it just goes barely under the skin, small needle once a week. We teach you how to do it, make sure you're set up and safe and know what you're doing. And they work in several ways to help us lose weight and improve our metabolic control. The question of, do you have to be on it lifelong? I think that depends on like where you started, right? So a lot of women we work with are, say, 45, they've had their kids, they want to finally dedicate some more time back to themselves, which they deserve, and back into their own health. And so, say they need to lose 20 to 40 pounds, those women can absolutely come off of the medication using the techniques, lifestyle, small adjustments we do over time while working together to keep that weight off without the help of the medication long term. And in fact, that's our primary goal for all of our patients. We do have plan B and C and D, whatever it might be, to keep people healthy, because at the end of the day, that's what we want, is to keep people healthy, whether or not we have to use the medications. Thankfully, these medications are actually 98% naturally occurring protein chains. So medically, it's okay to stay on them. There's not medical pressure for you to come off of the medication. There's actually a lot of benefits, like 20% reduction in cardiovascular risk. People tend to go to the hospital less on these medications. Their general inflammation is less. So there's a lot of cool reasons to maybe stay on the medicine if you find that lifestyle alone isn't cutting it. And so maybe a person that has 50 to 100 pounds initially when they come to us, they might be a person that kind of needs to stay on the medicine more long term.
Interesting. No, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing, because I feel like there's so much information out there, but like what's
What do you
really
believe? Yeah.
right.
And
Right.
yeah, who do you let guide you? Yeah, there
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you. Well, so another thing we talked through on the podcast is money memories. And I know
Yes.
you and I have, chatted about this before in the past, but what's a money memory that you have as a younger person or as a teenager that helped mold your relationship to money as an adult now?
Yes, I love that question. I love your mission to teach women about money. I think it's so important. And
Thank you.
I love talking about this stuff. I think my entrepreneurial spirit, I've always loved making money and figuring out like how to serve people and have it be a win-win situation, right? So I love doing that. A couple things that come to mind about a money memory. Um, One that really is interesting to me as a mom, looking back on my experience with my mom, I would always go grocery shopping with her. I loved it. We got out of the house. It was like girl time where her and I would go grocery shopping. There's three kids in the family, myself, my brother, and my sister, and my dad. And then my mom would get a budget from my dad once a month to go grocery shopping for our family of five. Okay. And the way they had their budget, for whatever reason, it was once a month. And so my mom had to plan everything we needed for the month.
Wow.
What was she cooking? She was a home cook. Like, we didn't eat out. We had a tight budget. We didn't go to restaurants all that often. And we would go to the store. She would get a cart. I would get a cart. Or when I was too little, she like had this system where we had two carts going all the way throughout the store. But she was on a super tight budget. So yes, she filled up our two carts of groceries that lasted us family of five through the whole entire month. But she had to become very skilled in how to do that in a tight budget, which really did teach me, how do you make healthy meals from scratch with whole ingredients that helps our bodies stay healthy and helps us stay on budget, right? It helps us make our money go farther. Um, so I think it taught me a lot of good things, but it also kind of, is a memory in money lack, like restrictive, right? Like, she had to make like whatever recipe she could figure with the food we still had in the house until the next month shopping came up, right? And, we never went hungry or anything at all like that. It's just, always felt like it was a limited resource, right?
You are listening to the Platinum Talks Wealth podcast.
Hey, it's Jennifer. I wanted to take a quick break to remind you that you are worthy to have a seat at the table when it comes to money and your finances. We, both me and my team at Platinum Wealth Management, want to meet you where you are, whether you're starting out, starting over, or have been investing for years. Reach out to us at platinumwealth.net or call us at 775-717-0001. We'd be honored to help.
And now, back to the podcast.
Like money was finite, it was limited, only once a month, stick with this budget. She even did math as we went along in the store. She's so impressive, and tracked our spending as we went along. And she was always like within 50 cents of the total.
That's impressive.
I know. Yeah. But kind of just like that, money is a finite resource was kind of what I was raised with. As a young mom, my husband and I did some training in real estate investing. And that's when my world and my eyes were open to the fact, I do believe it's a fact, that money is so much an attitude, and that we have to feel worthy of receiving, and that there's really actually not a shortage of wealth or money in this world. That we can be friends with money. We don't have to have this adversarial relationship with it. It doesn't have to be scary, and that it can actually be quite fun. And so in that real estate investing kind of endeavor, and when I started with that, that's when my attitude towards money really changed. And that's when opportunities started coming up, and I was starting to be reminded of my entrepreneurial spirit that I was really feel like I was born with. So
That's awesome. No, and you're so spot on. Like, money isn't scary, right? I think that is just the fantastic headline, because it goes back to the same point that I always share, that no matter where you're at in your journey, you're worthy of a seat at the table. And I
yeah, I
think
love that.
there's that hand in hand moment where people, I think, have that light bulb that goes off, that they're like, oh, no matter where I'm at in my journey, I'm worthy of having that conversation and worthy of making money work for me, whatever that looks like.
100%. And that brings a memory right out of college. I went to my local credit union where I, banked, my parents banked, we all have banked, this whole time, and thought I was really on top of it. I was going to meet with their financial planner at the credit union, right? And I was going to be like a big girl, go get my budget in line, go learn how to make, save money, whatever, and invest. And he basically just laughed me out the door. Like, he didn't want to spend 2 minutes with me. He made me feel like a child. I was a young adult. I was 22. I was a registered nurse in a hospital taking care of people's lives, but I did not have a seat at that table. That's for darn sure.
I would have, oh my gosh, I would have loved, obviously, to sit down with you when you
I
were
know, right?
22, because that is my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, when young women are coming and they're like, I don't know what to do or where to go, and like, how do I make sure I'm doing the right things so I can reach financial goals later in life? Like,
Yes,
what a beautiful gift that is, and what an honor to be able to have that conversation with you. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? And that's why I really do love you. And I think you serve this like amazing um, hole in the marketplace. Like, you're amazing with wealth, and you take such good care of your clients with lots of money. And you teach the people how to get started that need to learn and how to get started. So I think that's really cool.
Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. That means so much. So
Yay.
much.
Yeah, you're
Oh.
welcome.
So another thing we do talk through is financial infidelities, which
Mhm.
I always tease can be a big, scary, hairy word for a lot of people and mean different things for, different folks as well.
Sure.
What's a financial infidelity that you've either gone through or witnessed that you think others could learn from?
Yeah, great question. What comes to mind is a couple of particular events that happened in our real estate investing journey. Um, to be more specific, I do have my real estate license. We own some rental properties and have done several fix and flips. And this was kind of maybe back in 2016, 2018 timeframe, primarily. Um, and after we did some flips, we were feeling pretty confident, and we're like, okay, I feel like we could diversify what we're doing in real estate. And so we became the bank one time to another couple that was doing similar things in another state. And we lent them some money so they could do repairs on this house. We kind of evaluated the deal and made sure it made sense on paper and that they could make money and to pay us back, et cetera. We did all of our due diligence quite well. And, I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm meticulous about research and making sure things make sense and are safe. And so we did our very best, but the fact of the matter is like our money was invested in people, right? And those people didn't end out doing what they were supposed to do. And so we lost that money, and it was a lesson. And I feel like it kind of put our feet to the fire of like, okay, what is our financial mindset for reals? And like, if we do feel like we can have this abundant attitude towards money. Well, now it's time to really prove that notion, right? When you just lost a bunch of money. Um, and, we came through the other side with a fine attitude, just kind of was a process in like forgiveness of ourselves for making a bad investment, forgiveness of the other couple for, you know, unfortunately losing our investment. That sucks. But sometimes with investing, you're going to lose, right? But a lot of times you win. And, we've lent again, we've done real estate deals again, we've invested in the stock market, et cetera, again. And I think it's just all a learning and experience process where over a lifetime, we have different experiences that shape the way we view money and investing. And you have to kind of work to keep the weeds out of your garden, if you will, kind of pluck the thoughts and the experiences out that really don't serve you in the long term.
No, you bring up a fantastic point because it is about attitude, right? Nothing always pans out perfectly or how you always imagined.
Yep.
It depends. And kind of to the risk conversation, risk can bring reward, but risk also brings risk. So in those situations, it's how you navigate that. And I
Yeah.
mean, I think a lot of folks could have been maybe in a similar situation in your shoes and could have had a total sour grapes moment and gone a different direction than what you've have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We very easily could have reverted back to kind of feeling like we needed to put our money under the mattress, like my grandparents did. But thankfully we didn't. We kind of leaned into our resources as far as like books we would read and people we would listen to kind of keep expanding our just mindset, of abundance rather than lack.
Yeah, no, very valuable information.
Cool.
So thank you.
You're
So as
welcome.
we start to kind of wrap things up, what are tips and or tricks that you use to utilize money just differently in your own household?
Yeah, awesome. I wanted to tie this back into what I'm doing, which is helping people with their metabolic health and helping them stay healthy and at a good weight. And so, a couple of really good tips that suit both of these sides of the coin is don't go grocery shopping with when you're hungry, right?
Oh,
Like
that's the
write yourself.
worst. That is
Yes,
the worst. And I'm so guilty of doing that. And I
I
feel like in the
know.
case of Instacart, quite frankly, it's so
So
much smarter
true.
for me to be like, okay, here's what I need. And I get it and it's delivered.
Yes,
And I'm grateful for that because
yes,
otherwise I'm like, I need Twinkies. I need these Oreos.
absolutely.
Do I need them? No, I don't. But do I want them because I'm starving? Yes, every time.
So true. So like to your point, Instacart, like, yeah, you have to tip them. It ends up costing a little more money, maybe. But by the time you like factor your impulse purchases and things that you really didn't need, whatever, your craving purposes, because you're walking around looking at all this stuff, it kind of saves you money in the long run.
Yes,
So
yes.
don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. And then also look at menus before you go out to eat. Check out the menu before you're actually sitting there. And that allows you to do a couple things. It allows you to actually read the whole menu and evaluate what are my options here, and in that time when you're not actually starving, you can make healthier choices that still sound yummy and sound good. Whereas if you wait to make your choice at the restaurant, you're far more likely to choose an option that just sounds yummy and it really isn't healthy as much, right? And it's not that anything is off limits. Nothing's off limits in my world. You have all the treats, all the things. It's just about moderation. And hey, if you can take an opportunity to choose a healthy, yummy option from the menu while you're at home and you're not starving sitting at the restaurant, it's a great way to kind of keep your on budget and make a healthy choice.
Yeah, I actually I appreciate that so much because I am the person who looks at menus wherever I can. And you and I have
Yeah.
shared a meal together before, so I'm like,
Yeah.
what's gluten free? Like, what can
Gluten
I
free, you
have?
gotta know.
And even when I'm like starving, I'm like, okay, like, and you're right, your stomach talks, I think, louder than your brain many
It
times
does.
when you're really hungry in environments,
100%.
the grocery store or a restaurant for that matter. But I
Yep.
always try to navigate through like what can I have that's going to be good, that's going to be healthy for me, that is gluten free, and that I'm not spending a ton of money at a restaurant, right? When I'm just like
Yeah.
gorging food because I'm just so hungry in that moment.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, a couple of tips for healthy and money.
Those are good ones. And I'll have all your info in the show notes and then also some you said some diet menu-y type
Yeah.
of items.
Yeah, I have a really valuable freebie for your audience. It's a 4-week dietitian created meal plan that has recipes and shopping lists even 4-week menu, all about blood sugar control and regulation. So great timing, especially as we approach kind of the new year. I don't know when this is going to come out, but it's a great resource for people. So it'll be in the show notes. You guys be sure to check them out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for making time to chat. I'm grateful. So grateful.
Oh, you're so welcome. Nice to see you, Jennifer.
Yeah, you as well. And those of you listening or watching, hopefully you'll join us on our next Platinum Talks Wealth podcast.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, Platinum Talks Wealth, please subscribe and share. For more information about Jennifer Rogers Markwell or Platinum Wealth Management, please visit www.platinumwealth.net. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member of FINRA and SIPC. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. The guest speakers and their companies are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial or Platinum Wealth Management.